And here's some of the cast. As number 1, Jasmine Hester. As Captain Damien Sandoval of the USS Lexington, Jorge Pallo. As Captain Shawn Devon of the USS Exeter, Walter Jones. You may recognize Walter, he's also one of the OG Power Rangers. As Lieutenant Susan Kelly of the USS Constitution. Let's give it up for Chase Masterson. And last but not least, let's give it up for Captain Pike, Christopher Pike himself, Todd Shawn. Is there going to be any wrestling in this?
You can sit here. No, the bridge.
Okay, let's talk about the project now, all right? So, Star Trek, the pilot, The Cage, with actor Jeffrey Hunter. People want more. Todd, you want to talk about how you got started with this project?
Yeah, basically, I saw a Star Trek episode called The Menagerie. How many people have seen that? Okay, so I was wondering why Spock was so loyal to Christopher Pike. He betrayed Kirk, who he was loyal to, and if he betrayed Kirk, then Pike must be very close to Spock. They must have some kind of relationship. And I thought I'd see that in the original series at some point, and I never did. And I said, why? But you're showing me this episode where Spock is willing to betray him, and you're not explaining to me why. You just say, okay, they have some kind of past. But what happened? So I wanted to see that. I wanted to see what happened on Rigel 7, why Captain Pike was ready to retire from being a captain, what he went through, and I wanted to learn more about his past and when he first took command of the Enterprise.
And you also you've been with SAG since 1990. You've directed the likes of Ray Wise, Eric Roberts, and you have your own production company, right?
Yeah. So I'm a fan of Star Trek, but I'm not coming into this as a fan just making a film. I'm coming into this as someone who's in the entertainment industry making a film, a professional film, and that's what it's going to look like. So it won't look like shot with a VHS camera. It will look like it's shot with a red camera, a good quality camera, a professional film, from everything that's done in the film. From the composer, Chris Dubrock, who's back there, to all the SAG actors involved in the film, and everybody who's writing the film, Walter Doty, who wrote Inhale, you can watch on Netflix now. And I've directed people before and also produced films. So everyone involved in the film is in a professional capacity.
Nice. Mr. Walter Jones, so you want to tell us a little bit about your character?
Shawn Devon is the captain of the, I lost it, what is it? The Exeter, thank you. Captain of the Exeter. And he's a young captain. Within the script, he runs into some confrontation, but we'll see what happens with that.
And let's talk a little bit about the tone of the project. Rumor has it it's going to be a little darker, a little edgier. You have Ray Wise is in it, Bruce Davison, Eric Roberts, Chase Masterson.
That's me.
That's you right here, lovely lady. I apologize, I'm kind of like blocking her here, but
Thanks for watching.
can you tell us a little bit about your character?
Yes, okay. Susan is a very strong woman, a feminist, Starfleet, which I'm really excited to play after all these years in Star Trek. To not be a Tavo girl or an Orion is really a treat, and I'm excited. Susan has a past with, shall I say?
Sure. Not too much detail.
Susan has a past with the Admiral, commanding officer, and I'll just say she holds her own.
Are you going to be wearing a red shirt?
A what?
Like a red shirt?
A red shirt. No red shirt for me, baby. Right, girls? No red shirt for us. On on screen or off, right?
This is a
Yeah, actually, I don't think we have any red shirts in the cast because there weren't any red shirts really. So at this point, there are no red shirts.
And my next question is for Jasmine. So you're the officer, you're the first officer of the Enterprise. How does that feel? Because that job was originally Spock's.
It feels great. But I don't know, I think it's nice to see a woman there, a woman kind of take on that type of a role. So I love it. I like to be in charge. I get to be your right hand, and I get to sit in the captain's chair, so I'm pretty happy about that. And yeah, I guess it's that whole thing.
Sounds good to me. Todd, so how did you cast number one Spock and the rest of the cast? How did that come
Okay,
about?
probably number one, and Walter will tell you this. He was at the casting sessions with me, and number one was really hard to cast. We went through a lot of number ones that just weren't number one, and I wasn't looking for someone that looked like Majel Barrett just to fit the role of looking like her. I wasn't looking for any ethnic background. I was basically looking for a good actress. And that's basically was our criteria for the whole film. Just find people that can portray the character in a realistic way, that's a good actor, a good actress, and that's basically what we did. And we cast everybody who fit the roles, who was a good actor, good actress, who understood the script right away. As a director, it's very important when you're directing someone that they get it. If you don't get it, you could spend hours trying to get someone to understand. It just won't work. So you have to find someone who reads the script, they understand how it should be played, and right away. And Jasmine came in, and I think she was, it wasn't the first day that we read for number one, but she came in on one of the days, and she was the first person that read that day. And just from her first reading, I turned to Walter and I'm like, wait, no, that couldn't be. She's just too perfect. She just got it. And she was,
Walter said this is the one.
and
You
Walter
weren't
told
quite
me,
sure going to
Walter's
first.
like,
Let's keep auditioning.
I think so. And I said, no, she's just too perfect. She just gets it. She just gets it. So we read again. So she did. I said, I give everybody like a couple of chances to read because sometimes people get nervous. So I say, let's read again. But she wasn't nervous in her first try. She was boom, just got it. She read the second time, and it was even better than the first time. And I said, wow, I don't think anyone's going to beat this actress. I said, we'll check out more people, but I don't think, she was on the top of the list because she just understood the character right away. And it was the same pretty much for everyone else. For Spock was really hard because Spock was probably the hardest character just because Spock, you know who Spock is. He's established. He has to look like Spock. You really have to find an actor who understands the character but looks like him. So that was the only character that we really thought that no one's going to accept Spock unless he looks like Spock. And I don't know if you've seen online on our Facebook, we have a picture of Tom Berkman who plays Spock, and with the makeup and everything, he just looks exactly like Leonard Nimoy. He just looks like Spock. So for that character, we said Spock is the most established character in this universe because no one really knows who any of these other characters are on Pike's ship. You got to meet them for a second or two, but Spock is the only one that you know. So we thought it was really important that not only we found a good actor that understood the character, but actually looked like the character, which took a long time. And there were a lot of people, like Walter knows, that looked like Danny DeVito that applied for the audition, which I had no idea why.
Oh, that's awesome. George Pallo. Yeah. So you play Captain Sandoval of the USS Lexington?
Yes, Captain Damien Sandoval of the USS Lexington.
But dude, you've been on awesome shows like Sons of Anarchy and stuff.
Yeah, I got killed in Sons of Anarchy.
That's a spoiler, I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry, spoilers.
That's cool. Tell us a little bit about the captain.
Captain Damien Sandoval. Well, he's young, he's handsome, he's a good salsa dancer. He's determined, very, very much about his crew, believes in Starfleet, believes in the mission, and he's a good friend of Captain Pike's. So, and I really love that lady's shirt. It says, "I can't keep calm, I'm a red shirt." That's awesome. I just needed to point that out.
like the fact that you pointed out that you're young and handsome.
Well,
You guys agree?
I mean, did I? Come on. Oh, stop, please, no.
So, you guys ready for some, a teaser? Can we do that?